Hey everyone, it's Tiqqle, and in this video, we're talking about the Alpha and some of the new features that are out on the Alpha, which I didn't even know were out there until we streamed the other night. So definitely come by the stream, twitch.tv/TiqqleThis, shameless plug. While we explore the Alpha, you guys are helping me learn things as well. But in this, we're going to be going over the soul bindings and how that works. We saw it in the developer update, but now we can see it right on the screen. You can switch between the three for the Venthyr, and we can also go to the Venthyr for particular classes and check out the Conduits. Very exciting. We're going to go through the Conduits, we're going to go through the soul binding, and then other parts of the Alpha, which are, there's so much to talk about now. There's so much that was recently released. We'll do that in other videos. I'll try to keep this all about soul bindings, all about the Conduits. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and look at this. What we're going to do is we're going to go through each of them, and we'll kind of review what's here, the different abilities, as you may or may not already know. Then we'll also talk about the individual Conduits, and then I'll kind of give some thoughts on this whole system. I said it in my other video about the whole developer update, but at the end we'll talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful? I don't know. But anyway, in the developer update, they made it sound like you could only select one of your champion people. It's not the case. You actually have 3 trees you can go down, and you can actually talent them all out. So we'll start with the one that they previewed. Now let's go through some of the abilities. If you didn't know, this is the new way that you basically buff yourself up based on your Covenant. Your Covenant is you can be 1 of 4 if you didn't know. You have to choose that, then you build up a reputation or renown with that faction, and then you get to go down this tree and select certain abilities. You can also put these things called Conduits into these slots, giving your spec-specific buffs. So let's go ahead and just go through all the abilities relatively quickly, and then we'll talk about it, right? Okay, so first one, this is Fancy Footwork. Door of Shadows increases your movement speed by 80%, decaying over 6 seconds. What is Door of Shadows? Well, in case you don't know, quick recap, in Shadowlands, you're going to be getting 2 Covenant abilities based on the Covenant you pick. One is specific to your class, one is specific to the Covenant. So Shaman's going to get a specific one. I get Door of Shadows is the overall one for Venthyr, the Covenant, and then the other ability, I forget what it's called, but for Shaman is like an AoE, and it heals and does damage and bounces around 5 times, right? But anyway, Door of Shadows is basically a ability where you teleport, and I'm on a warrior right now, not Shaman because the Conduits. Door of Shadows, you basically blink over here, right? So now this is saying that you're going to be able to get a speed buff when you come out on the other side, decaying over 6 seconds. Kind of cool, actually, kind of nice. Not too game-breaking. When I first reviewed this whole soul bindings on stream, I kind of got really sad. I actually thought, you know what? This is going to be so complicated and convoluted, like Azerite powers, Azerite traits, essences. I was like, dude, this is not good. But you know what? I have to take a step back. I can't snap judge, and I think it might be all right. The next one is Door of Shadows disorients all enemies at the target location for 8 seconds. So in other words, if you blink forward when you pop up, it will do an 8-second disorient. I'm hoping this will be tuned in PvP because that would seem pretty strong in PvP, but if the disoriented targets have dots, it'll probably break. Thanks, Laffy, for talking me off the ledge. And then you get to choose one of your Conduits. These Conduits have different names. The Potency, Finesse, and Endurance. Endurance being more defensive, the Potency being more offensive, and the Finesse being more utility-driven. Now, if we take an example of that, I have some of those in my bag. Let's go ahead and just take a quick look. So basically, yeah, so Endurance, basically an example is 6% of your damage you deal adds to your active Ignore Pain. Whoa, so you're basically a leech type setup. That's actually pretty nice. In all specs get Ignore Pain, so that's pretty nice for Warrior. Potency is Overpower, has a 6% chance to apply Colossus Smash. Wow, okay. That's also pretty cool, and that is an offensive. Then a more utility is Rallying Cry duration and health granted are increased by 20%. Okay. I like these, actually. I'm not going to get into my review of the Conduits yet, but I like that these are just buffing your existing abilities, not giving you more passives, not giving you more passives or actives or anything like that. I like that it's just buffing your character. That way your class is still composed of mostly you're just the spells in your spell book and the talents on your talent tree. That's what I'm talking about, Blizzy. All right, so let's go ahead and just step through this. We'll do this one. Doors of Shadow increases your movement speed by 80%, decaying. I can basically click down this tree. To me, there's no cost of anima, but I would imagine that there will be a progression system for the cost, for anima, etc. So, okay, so we get that. So I could technically put in an endurance slot. So let's go ahead and just do this. 6% of your damage adds to Ignore Pain. Got it. All right, finesse. We'll just put this finesse one in and won't really think about it too much. Rallying Cry duration. And then if I look at my rallying cry, let's actually just see real quick. My rallying cry says for 10 seconds. If I use it, okay, it's still 10 seconds. Duration, health granted. Okay, so that maybe it's not actually working yet because it says that it should be increased by 20%. Duration is the one I'm focusing on. And the duration still says 10 seconds. Okay, whatever. All right, so that's pretty cool. So that's how you put those in. And I heard that if you take these out, or if you overlap them with something else, they get destroyed. So that's just something to note. Next is Friends in Low Places. This NYI means not yet implemented. You loot 20% more infused rubies and dredgers throughout Drevendrast to offer you an expanded selection of goods. This is kind of cool. Why do I think that's cool? You might say, that's kind of dumb. That doesn't change your character. That's why I like it. I think that, you know, you can get ability augmentations like these two, but you could also just get these that are just going to be flavorful things that change your character. Why do I like that? Because it's not game breaking. It's not PvP breaking. It's not PvE breaking. The whole argument of covenants has been they're going to be not possible to be balanced. There will be a best version of them. I just think that if things like this were just in a lot of the covenant trees, then it would be a lot less, balancing concerns. Flavorful. All right, so I could pick any of these. Let's go ahead and look down here. The duration of incoming interrupt, snare, and root effects are reduced. Okay, well, as a warrior, I might like that because I want to stay mobile. As a healer, I might like it because I don't want to be interrupted. So that's kind of cool. We have the benefits of well-fed flask and weapon enchant effects increased by 15%. That's pretty cool. Truthfully, this is another one that's like, this is not game-breaking, but it's just good enough. It's just good enough to change things a little bit. And to be honest, this is a raiders, they're going to like that because you're going to get benefits across all those things. This is more of a PvP thing. This is the first enemy. We saw this in the dev update. The first enemy you damage in combat is marked as your adversary. You deal 4% more damage to them, and they deal 2% less damage to you. You may only have one adversary at a time. Like, that's okay, but again, I don't want things that I have to min-max around, to be honest, in this tree. To me, it's just one more thing to handle. And to me right now, the game's pretty clean, where I just have my class abilities, I just have my talents, and that's what the game, I think, should be. They shouldn't be these corruptions, these other effects, yada yada. I'm already a little worried about the legendary system as is, but yeah, let's go ahead and pick this. And I don't actually have to put in a conduit, right? I can keep selecting this down, and I think that's fine too. All right, we'll go down to the potency. And then the last one, while in combat, you gain a stack of Thrill Seeker every 2 seconds, or 4 stacks on killing an enemy. At 40 stacks, Thrill Seeker is consumed to grant you Euphoria, speeding up everything you do by 20% for 10 seconds. It's kind of interesting, right? Because that means not just haste, it's actually movement speed and a lot of other things. I've already tested this. My shaman's pretty cool. I like the animation of this. Looks pretty neat. I do appreciate that. Let's go ahead and put this in. Or if I try to put it in a finesse slot, it doesn't work. I put it in potency. Yada yada yabby dooby doob. All right. So that's that. So I could activate her. I activated it, right? So you can see who I have active, and that's that, right? Like, those are the skills and abilities that are now changed. I'll turn this quest. But now we can switch it up. We go back to here, which is, by the way, I'm in the kind of the Covenant Sanctum, right, which is in Sinfall, and there's a lot of stuff going on here. And you can see there's world quests, etc., giving certain items and anima or gold or whatever, right? And this will change over time as well. We can get into that later, or in a different video probably, because there's so much to talk about here. So that's this. This is Nausea, right? That's that. And if I wanted to change it, they right now have reset 1 reserve anima. So it will cost me something, right? I don't have any anima on this tune, but I could, I think, get some from this vendor over here. There's a testing vendor. If I go over here, large amount of anima, please. Got it. Got a 10,000. You can see it in the chat. That's just for testing purposes. Of course, that won't be in the end game. But I just want to show you how the respecking works. So I go in here, I respec once. There it is. And now if I put it in, it looks like some of these things are already staying in there. Even if I respec, the conduits are staying. If I go to respec, okay, it's still 1. I wanted to know if it doubled or something like that, but that probably isn't implemented. Well, let's move on. Now that's cool, right? That's my option. I could switch and just activate this person, right? I don't know if we just quickly go down. You basically have to choose all these. It seems anyway. No, okay, already active, that's why. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Theotar the Mad Duke. All right, so let's go through these abilities again. The conduits are similar. It looks like this one, in this tree, there was a, offensive, utility, defensive. In this one, there's just utility, offense. So it's kind of interesting. There's a certain number of offensive, defensive per tree. Looks like there's 2 defense, 3 offense, 2 offense and 3 utility. There's 2 defense, 2 offense, or 3 offense and 2 utility. So I guess it could change depending on the tree. Okay, this one has 3 endurance, so it does change. So this one has 1 more slot of offense, potency. This one has 1 more slot of finesse for utility, and this one has 1 more slot of endurance for defense. That's kind of interesting, and maybe that's how they're going to balance these around. Maybe all the different covenants will have something similar, a similar breakdown, a similar distribution of the types of, people you can activate. All right, let's move on to the next one. Watch your shoes. Doors of Shadows frees you from roots and snares. Kind of cool, but it is a cast. Doors of Shadows is instant cast, but the cooldown is increased by 30 seconds. I like that one quite a bit because I don't like casting that ability. We'll get this finesse, and now this tree. This is my next decision. The effects of combat potions last 20 to 100% longer. Again, Raider's Dream here. Actually, a Mythic Plus too. See, this is kind of cool. It's RNG, and maybe people won't like it, but I think it's kind of neat, and it isn't game breaking, and it won't affect PvP. So take that. Next is Soothing Shade. Your spells and abilities have a chance to call Tubbin and Gubbins to your side for 12 staff gains. Parasol in hand. Standing in the shaded area grants you 10% mastery. Okay, it's kind of okay. This is Token of Appreciation, not yet implemented. Grant a shield that absorbs 800 damage to allies who aid you with healing or beneficial magic effects. You will only shield each ally once every 20 seconds. Okay, that's kind of interesting. 800 damage. 800 damage is almost... Ooh, okay, that's not that much, but that's okay. We'll kind of take that one. It's not implemented, but it's kind of neat. We'll get those. Next decision is during Life of the Party, during the Emperor Court, your guests gain additional happiness for each event completed. When the court concludes, the effects of any decrees bestowed upon you are increased. That's nice. So if you do this event, you'll probably get some buffs or something. Now, the Emperor Court is the example, what Blizzard said during their developer update of kind of being a flavorful kind of deep dive into your covenant. Every covenant will have a different event that you could do, and it gives you something. We don't know what that something is yet. We can't test it yet, but the one for Venthyr is Emperor Court, and it's like throwing a party. You got to organize it, get it together, have a good time, defend it, etc. So it's kind of cool, and it won't be PvP breaking, PvE breaking. That's kind of neat. Next one is Theotar will cover the cost of your transmog. Oh my god! Oh my god! We love this. We're going this guy all the time. Theotar will send you an assortment of flavorful herbs when you complete activities. See, this is kind of cool. So this is utility stuff. None of this is game breaking. It's kind of nice. I kind of like that. All right, I'm starting to warm up to this. Coming soon, this trait will be lurking in the shadows. Okay, fair enough. Now, the only thing I'd say is if I activate this guy, right, and I go do my dailies because he's gonna give me herbs and stuff. I'll have to come back to switch it. I guess this is the place I'll have to go back to over and over, and maybe I'll be living here a lot if I'm a Venthyr to be able to switch this stuff around. Kind of interesting. Different than a class hall, but not that different from a class hall. All right, let's go to the next one. The last one that we can check out for now. General Draven. All right. Anima Infusion. Earning Anima improves your armor's remaining durability. So in other words, if you get Anima, it's going to repair your armor. Again, flavorful, not game-breaking. Leaving a resting area increases your mounting speed by 10% and your out-of-combat regeneration by 100%, lasting 10 minutes. Completing a world quest refreshes this duration. That's kind of nice. Very minor stuff. Flavorful minor stuff. All right, this one is while you are above 80% health, you gain 1% strength every 3 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Remember, I'm a warrior, so that's why it says strength. If you fall below 50% health, this effect is lost. So this is just increasing your strength. This could be good for raiding, right? You're always going to be above 80, right? For the most part. Stacking up to 5% strength. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Successfully interrupting an enemy or dispelling an enemy increases your critical strike chance by 10% for 10 seconds. That's actually pretty cool. This actually used to be I think it was a warrior thing. When you did a kick, you got a buff. I think it was, I forget what it was called, but yeah, it was back in Wrath. Can only occur every 30 seconds. Okay. Standing still for 4 seconds grants you 10% increased stamina and 4% increased healing. Done. This effect persists for 4 seconds after you start moving. Okay, Blood Death Knight. We're going to go this one. I want to see that start to stack. All right, here we go. We're going to activate this guy. Can we activate now? We can. Okay. Doors of Shadow grants you a shield that absorbs damage equal to 15% of your maximum health. Okay. Okay, it's not instant cast. Remember, that was this guy changing it to instant cast, but that's okay. This is move as one when a nearby enemy temporarily when a nearby enemy gains temporary increased movement speed, you also gain the effect. That's weird. So that means if someone uses sprint or Tiger's Lust, I also get the benefit. Okay. I'll do the shield. Finesse. And then the last one is Condemn grants 10% versatility to you and 4% versatility to up to 4 nearby enemies. That's kind of nice. That's kind of cool. Condemn is my my Covenant ability. I like this. Okay, I'm warming up to it. This one, this tree made me a little sad because things like this, like increasing damage, damage dealt, damage taken, these stacking stuff you have to monitor. But these two are pretty clean. Like, this is just kind of nice. Like, okay, I have a stacking buff. I now have 5% more strength. I like those things. I like it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about these Soulbinds, okay? Every single Covenant will have their own 3 options you can pick from, and apparently, you know, resetting them doesn't cost much right now, probably will, but being able to switch on the fly is kind of nice. So it's pretty cool. They don't follow you around, which I actually thought they were going to follow you around like followers in Legion, but that's not the case. So the other thing, let's go ahead and do, let's jump into the Conduits. We'll just kind of read through them. This is a vendor temporarily on the Alpha. When you guys all get beta access and we run dungeons together, I don't know if this will be available, but let's go ahead and just look through them. There is a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. There's quite a bit. So let's go through them. You have to remember there's the 3 types: the Finesse, the Potency, and the Endurance. And I actually really like that. And in my video, I'll put it down in the description for the dev update feedback. That was actually something I really wanted. I wanted something that was like overall defense, overall attack, overall utility. Literally like that. So that's awesome. I had not seen this yet. I found this out on stream because you guys told me that this was available. So, all right, so let's go ahead and just go through these kind of for warriors, and we'll do all the other classes once they become available. But for right now, it's just warrior, mage, monk, I heard. So let's just dive right into it. Stalwart Guardian. The cooldown of enraged regeneration is reduced by 20 seconds. Now this is a this ability here. This is one of the main defensives for Fury Warrior, and it's not even a defensive. It's basically healing. Oh, actually, it is defensive now. Lol. Reduces the damage taken by 30%, and Bloodthirst restores an additional 20% health. Wow, okay, that is a defensive. Okay, I'm a noob, an old school warrior. Don't judge. Damage is reduced by 20 seconds. 20 seconds isn't that much off of a 120 sec. Actually, it is. It's 120 second cooldown right now. It's gonna remove. Okay, it's almost 20% of the cooldown. Okay, that's pretty good then. Actually, 20% or 20 seconds. Next one. We'll try. Hopefully the endurance ones are together. Remember, endurance is the defensive one, so that's pretty nice. Next one is 6% of the damage you deal adds to your active ignore pain. That's actually really nice, truthfully, because I think ignore pain, if you're getting targeted in PvP, is going to be pretty important for PvE. This isn't a good example of like PvE. This won't be that big of a deal for non-tanks. So maybe you don't go this one, but for PvP, this will be a big deal. And I like the fact that this has the you know, the ability to be useful for PvP in certain situations, useful for PvP in certain situations for different people. I would probably use this if I was a prot tank, right? Because you're gonna have ignore pain up all the time. I'm also gonna use this if I'm a warrior playing in a PvP comp where I think I'm gonna get targeted, or I want to be tankier. That's cool. That's customization. That is nice. Next is Slam. This is again is endurance. Slam has 4% chance to refund a charge of shield block. That's nice for prot. Not that nice for all the other specs, but that's okay. Because technically, you know, you can put on sword and board as the other specs and use shield block, but you're probably not going to. So this is probably just for prot. Victory Rush heals you for 400% of the damage it dealt over 8 seconds. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Endurance. Last Stand increases your rage regeneration by 30%. Okay. Rallying Cry would reduce this. Okay, so that's it. So these are the 5 that are available for endurance. Kind of cool. Some of them are very specific to prot, I think, but this one is pretty good for anything. And even, yeah, that's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. All right, let's go to the next one. Finesse. This is utility. Rallying Cry duration and health granted are increased by 20%. That's nice. And because that number is white, that makes me think that that could be higher in the future. Like that could change, or that could be augmented somehow, like more percentages possible. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's what it makes me think whenever you see that type of coloring on an ability like here. You can see that the on the bottom right of the screen, the Raging Blow, the the green text about the cooldown, the second recharge, that is pretty much, you know, can be affected by haste, right? All right, so let's keep going. This one is intervene reduces the damage taken by the target by 10%. We like that a lot. That's really useful for PvE, or sorry, for PvP. I'm surprised it's under finesse and it's not under endurance, but that's just me. Condemn increases the critical strike chance of condemn by 3% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. Condemn again is the Covenant ability for Venthyr for Warrior. Okay, so this is an augment to that, and I do like the fact that the Conduits affect the Covenant's ability. They're not game breaking; they're augmenting the way that your special ability from that Covenant works, and I think that actually makes a whole lot of sense when you think about selecting a Covenant and then the Conduits that can align to it. All right, next is Intimidating Shout can withstand 80% more damage before breaking. Okay. Not that impressed with this one. I've seen stuff like this before with like Druids and Root and stuff like that. It just never feels like it matters to me. But maybe this would. Maybe. I don't know. And what is 80% more of? Like, if 80% more is of a small number, it's not going to be that significant, right? So I don't know about this one. Overpower has 6% chance to apply Colossus Mass. That's very good. Oh, sorry. That was finesse. Oh, that was a potency one. Okay, so if I just... Sorry, I'm just going to quickly look here. There's only 3 for finesse, actually. Yeah, there's only 3 for finesse. This one, the Rallying Cry, the Intimidating Shout, and the Intervene. Huh, that's kind of weird. Maybe there's going to be more to come, but there's only 3 for that. Okay, so all the trees had at least 2 utility slots, so you're going to be able to hit 2 out of the 3. All the other Soulbinds had at least 2. 1, 2, 3. At least 2 for each, and then 3 on the special tree. So you can pick 2 out of those 5. You can pick 2 out of those 3. That's kind of weird. Okay. The Condemn and the Overpower, those are potency. That means offensive ones. Remember that. Then Slam critically strikes, reduce the remaining duration on Bladestorm. We like that. That's actually pretty nice. Reducing cooldown stuff is pretty cool in my opinion. Rampage has a 10% chance to refund a charge of Raging Blow. Now, this is a very Fury-specific one, you know, and I think that if I were to specialize these, there'll be a lot less, but I'm showing you all the ones for Warrior. So if I actually just switch to Fury real quick, there's 3 endurance ones, there's 3 finesse ones, and there's 4 potency ones. So similar with arms, I'm imagining there's only 3 potency, there's 3 finesse, 3 endurance. Interesting. I'm doing all specs so you can see them all, but yeah, so just be aware of that. I'm doing that. And we'll do the similar. We'll have to keep that in mind when we're looking at other classes as well. Recklessness lasts 20% longer. Very cool. I like that a lot. That's just, again, it's not giving you a new ability. It's not giving you a new passive. Those are the bad things that happen to BFA, in my opinion. This is all about changing your existing gameplay. Blizzard, good job. This is not game breaking to me. I also don't think that this is, you know, I don't think that this is going to be a problem in terms of balancing covenants, because I would hope that these conduits are similar or kind of most of them are similar across the covenants. I don't know if that is true. If you guys know, put it down in the comments, but that's how I feel. If these are mostly the same across, the balancing won't be that bad, because there's only very few abilities in the soul trees that actually affect gameplay. So then the main concern about covenants and soul bindings can go away. Get it? What do you think? Let me know down below, and definitely come by the stream to talk about it. We're going to be doing this a lot more. Bloodthirst deals 40% increased damage to enemies who are below 20% health. That's actually pretty nice for freaking Fury Warriors, man. Freaking Bloodthirst. What a beautiful ability. All right, guys. With that being said, we went over the conduits. We went over the soul bindings. I just gave you kind of my thoughts. If they move forward with the fact, and if it is the way that the different conduits will be similar across the different covenants, will be okay. If they are very different, then I'll be a little sad, because there would definitely be a huge outlier. The more similarity between the covenants in terms of the game-changing abilities, the better. My review of these, I do not like this stuff. Passives you get, or passives that are going to proc stuff for you, I don't like. I really like this type of stuff, changing the duration of certain things. I like the passives. I don't like the that's not that great. I like, you know, reducing a cooldown, okay. Granting a shield, I don't like. I don't like things that are going to change and be in the game. It sounds so weird, but I really like the idea of what the Conduits are doing, and they're augmenting your existing class design, your existing gameplay, right? Even this, Condemn grants a buff. That's okay, as long as it's not outrageous. Door of Shadows grants you a shield. Okay, it's not giving you a new ability. It's not giving you a passive to manage. The proccing passives, like, they're okay. This is a stacking buff, like, that's okay. But yeah, so that's what I think. I really think it would be bad, because if you think about if they do it like BFA was, you get tons of passives, you get tons of procs, you get tons of things you have to manage. Think of Shaman, you have to manage the Lava Shock stacks. Think of any other class where you get a passive buff, then that augments your damage. Those are bad. And I'm glad that that's not the case. These are things that are after the fact of your current class design, giving you procs and stuff like that with limited exception. So with that being said, guys, let me know what you want to see in the comments below. There is so much to go over. The Maw is open. We did it on stream the other day. Make sure to come by. There's so much to do in the Maw. The tower is now a little bit harder to get into. Crafting legendaries are out. We're going to be doing all those videos, so make sure to stay tuned. Click that sub button, and we will see you in the next one, guys, or on stream every day, except for Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come with your questions. I got the answers. See you then, guys. Take care.